everybody, and welcome to DungeonCast, the show where I talk about gaming, animating, and movies. And today, I'm going to talk about something that I'm frequently asked about, and that is, what do I use to animate with? I always get this in my comments and my messages, and I try to answer all of them, but I don't think the people who come to my channel see those comments, so I figured I would address it here, and I use Adobe Flash. That seems to be one of the most popular programs for animating, and I know there is Toon Boom and Maya and Anime Studio, but I haven't really used those too much. But I use Adobe Flash, and basically that's a program used to make projects in the Flash format using the Flash coding and all that stuff, but animators usually just use it just because it's a really good tool for animating, and whenever someone makes an animation, they probably export it into a MP4 or some sort of movie file. Like, I don't think anyone really uses the Flash format for file types anymore, if they ever did in the first place. I purchased Flash through the Creative Cloud, which is $20 a month as a subscription fee. And that's a great deal, because, I mean, I don't know if you know about Flash or Adobe products in general, but holy shit, they used to be like $400 to $500 sometimes. And that's just like one form of it. And like every year or so, I think they come out with like a new version of it, like CS whatever. And it's always super expensive. So $20 a month is pretty reasonable for a really good, versatile product. So when it comes to digital animating, there's a lot of pros. I mean, we'll talk about the cons in a second because they're a little bit more hilarious. But the pros are, animating can be done using these programs. It can be done by just one person. I mean, back in the day, back in like traditional animation, that was impossible. Because, I mean, you needed to have a whole staff of people to create an animation. And, you needed people working on the keyframes. You needed people working on the in-between frames. You needed people working on the voice acting. You needed people working on the backgrounds. There were so many outlets and so many people that needed to come together to make an animation. And of course, a single person can't make something as amazing as a whole staff could. Because, I mean, there's just not enough resources. I mean, maybe over a long length of time, a single person could make something that's like Disney quality, but it would take them a lot longer. But for simpler animations like the ones that I make, or something a little bit more intricate, it's like capable for one person to do that now using these digital programs. It's just easier with all these tools and stuff. It's all digital, and you don't have to worry about making mistakes because you can just easily undo that. And I mean, it's weird for me to look at Flash from like a new person perspective, because I don't remember what it was like to use Flash for the first time. I remember it was very frustrating. Actually, no, I do remember the first time, because I took a class in college, and it was a class about how to use Flash, but not how to use Flash in an animating way. It was just how to use the program in general, how to use the tools. And because there's a lot of different things you can do with Adobe Flash, and animating is just one of them. So I learned how to use the tools, and I remember it was very frustrating because Adobe or Flash doesn't work properly all the time. It's not consistent. And for someone who's learning how to use it, that can be really devastating when things don't work the way you want them to work. One thing that comes to mind is the paint fill tool. So with the paint fill tool, you can fill areas with color that are closed off, or you can use a little adjuster to say how big of a gap or how small of a gap it will close for you. So if you have like a huge gap in a circle or something, and you choose to fill huge gaps, it will fill in that circle for you, even though it's not a complete circle. It's kind of hard to explain without having like a visual representation. But another thing that it doesn't do very good at is the color seems to always mess up in Flash. I don't know why, but there will be times when you'll delete a color and it deletes everything. Or like you delete a line and it deletes all the color. Or you make something a certain color and then everything else becomes that color. Or if you copy and paste something into a new frame, it suddenly becomes like one color. It makes no fucking sense why it does that. Or if you try to undo, like you do Control Z, it will undo some steps, but it will skip over others, and it will leave lines there. You know, like it's I don't know why the fuck it does that. The sound will not sync up properly sometimes. It can be very frustrating when you're just learning it, but after a while you kind of just learn how to cope with Adobe's dumb shit. I don't know, like you just get used to it, I guess. Or at least I got used to it. So if you're coming into animating and you want to try Flash, I definitely suggest looking into tutorials. Like, don't just jump into Flash without knowing what you're doing, because it can be very frustrating, and there's a lot to it. And I suggest looking up Oni. He's an amazing animator. If you don't know who he is, I don't know how you don't know who he is, but he's an amazing animator, and he makes tutorials about basic things in Flash. And when I was first starting, I watched all of those, like a million times. I watched all of those because I love his stuff. Like, he made Dragon Ball P and Dragon Ball PP, and he makes all these like super funny parodies. I think right now he's working on an original animation with one of his friends for like an actual studio. I think it's actually going to be on like a network, you know? So that's awesome. Another person I like to watch is Draw with Jazza, and he does tutorials on drawing, animating, Flash, like anything you can possibly think of, and he's incredibly talented. So I watch his stuff a lot. So I suggest definitely looking into that before you jump into Flash, because it can be really, it can turn you off, like, to animating and to all that stuff. And it should be something that's really fun, because now that I'm a little bit better with it, I enjoy it a lot more than I did when I first started. Because when I first started, it was really difficult to do. And like, I'm someone who is usually pretty patient, but when it comes to programs that just are weird and complicated and like don't work right sometimes, I get like really frustrated. And I really got frustrated with Flash when I first started. And it's weird to look back on it, because I would get mad at stuff that is so simple to me now. And it just, I don't know, I don't understand the mindset that I was in back then, but I guess it's just because I didn't know what I was doing. So another thing that people ask me a lot is, what equipment do I use? Because when you're starting off with animating, it's definitely important to get good equipment. So the first thing that I ever had was the Bamboo Splash, and I bought that when I was in college when I took a digital painting class. And that, I think, was like $70 when I got it. It's just a small drawing tablet, and whatever you draw on it, it transfers onto your screen. It can be a little weird getting used to at first, because you're kind of like drawing down here on your lap and it's showing up on the screen. You know, it's completely different than anything I ever tried before, because I mean, I'm so used to drawing on paper, and what my pencil is physically touching, I am drawing. So like, it's weird to see you like drawing down here, but it shows up somewhere else. But you get used to it really fast. And then I upgraded to the Intuos Pro, the medium one. It's basically like the Bamboo Splash, but bigger. It's got a couple more controls on it. I think I got it for $250 when I worked at Best Buy. I'm not really sure if I got a discount though. And then my other piece of equipment is the Yeti mic, the Yeti Blue, I think it's called. Yeah, this thing is great. I think it was only like $100, maybe $80 to $100. Not really sure. And I think it's an amazing entry-level microphone. Like, I don't think you're going to get anything better for your money. It's very solid. It has all these different settings and stuff for the different directions. You can do binaural, or you can have it so you can like change the direction of where you want the sound to record from. And then the last thing I use is Audacity, and I use that to do my voice recordings and any sort of sound effects that I want to make myself. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I use to animate, and I know a lot of people were wondering about it, so I figured I'd let them know. So if you guys have any suggestions for the next video, just let me know in the comments. If you want to know about how I animate, or if you want to know anything about me, or if you want to know my opinions on things, just let me know. And also, if you're a smaller animation channel and you want me to give you a shout out, just let me know in the comments and I'll shout you out. I will show your work, because YouTube is such a difficult place to get started on. And I know I'm not like some super big pop star with animation, but there's a lot of people who make incredible animations who are incredibly talented and they don't get seen. And that just sucks, I think, because these people deserve tons of credit and tons of views and tons of subscribers. So if you're a smaller animation channel and you're watching this, you know, let me know and I'll shout you out and I'll check out your stuff and I'll try to get other people to check out your stuff. And if you know someone who's an animator and they deserve way more credit than they're getting, let me know and I'll try to help them out. And I will see you guys in the next video, and as always, stay animated.